Hey there, and welcome to Crochet Therapy. I'm Barbara, your host for this episode of Morning Coffee and Crochet. And I'm so glad that you're here. So glad that you're here. I am going to back up and straighten myself out this morning. I don't know if you can see it, but there's water behind me. And I'm at a boatyard. So, a boat dock, actually. And it's good to see you. How is everyone? I am so excited. Um, so excited to see everyone. And today's Monday. It's a Monday. But it's not a bad Monday, but it is a Monday. I woke up with a little bit of a headache and yeah, so I think that it is sinus related. Oh my goodness. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to go back and say good morning, but first I need a sip of my coffee. Mm, mm, mm. Ooh. So, I am really excited on this Monday because, oh, thank you, Jessica. That is a cup, that's a mug that was given to me by my sweet sister-in-law. And I'm really, really to share things with you this morning. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Valerie. Good morning, Alice. Let's see, is there anybody else here yet this morning? Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Patty. Good morning to you. It's good to see you. And let's see. Whoop, this is about as far back as I can go. So, if you are, I just got kind of distracted a little bit because the builder was calling me. Good morning, Catherine. And so obviously I can't take the call right now. So as soon as we get off from live, I'll call him back. So I hope it's with good news. Hope so. So, excuse me. Nikki, good morning. Good morning, Robin. It's good to see you. Good to see everyone here this morning. So, hubby and I are on the countdown to packing up our room. And, I know we have been doing this forever, but honestly, I reminded someone this past week, I'm a senior citizen. And I don't have the energy that that I used to have. And I never really had a whole lot of energy, but I really don't have any now. So, I did visit the doctor, and she found out that, I'm low on iron and B12, and, there was a couple other things going on, a little bit of high blood pressure. Can't imagine why, right? So, anyway, we're fixing it, and hopefully that will mean that I will have better energy and will be able to, do more. But right now, we're still trying to pack up our room. And yesterday, oh, I got a story to tell you. So anyway, what's in your cup before we get started? What is in your cup? Mine has coffee, and I did put some powder creamer, just the plain powder creamer, and I put a little bit of Splenda in it. I know Splenda's controversial, but I needed a little bit of sweet this morning, so that's what I have in here. What's in your cup? Ooh, Catherine is having an iced coffee. Yummy. I love. And of course, Alice, she says the usual. So, if Alice had a coffee bar that she was going to, she would walk in the door, and instead of, I don't know if you guys remember this, if you'll get this reference, but everybody will go, Alice, instead of Norm. Do you remember that show about the bar where everybody knows your name? Ooh, Valerie is having a large French roast coffee, and then all Alice would have to do is say, I'll have my usual. She wouldn't even have to say that because they would be putting the coffee on the counter, just like they used to put the beer on the counter for Norm. Oh my goodness, that was a long time ago. Ted Danson was young and he had brown hair. Oh my goodness. So this might be too much American references for you. Sorry about that. Just reminiscing. So that was the show Cheers, in case you didn't get that reference. So anyway, yep, Alice is having her usual. And gosh, you know, we should do like a crochet bar. Have lattes and some Alice said she went to Starbucks once and they spelled her name A-L-E-S-S. They do that on purpose. Yeah. Okay, Jessica says she's having French vanilla creamer in her coffee and she's making a top out of bamboo. Oh, and she says, she's in love. You know, that bamboo yarn is so soft and flexible and yeah, right? How hard is Alice to spell? Slice. I know. Jessica says she gets Jeff or Jen. Hey, and the other day I was called Miss Brenda. You know, I used to teach children in one of our church groups, and they used to call me Miss Brenda all the time, and I would answer to it because I knew those little children still loved me even if they got my name wrong. So I didn't worry about it. Hey, do you guys see what is in my background right here? So this is my doll crib and my doll high chair from when I was little. And so it's over 50 years old. Excuse me. My mom's cousin has a daughter, and well, he has passed, but his daughter, my cousin, he used to hand things to hand-me-downs, right? But they were really good hand-me-downs, like kitchen appliances for children to play with, and this right here, I think was a hand-me-down from him, but it was new when we got it. I mean, it had hardly been used. But anyway, so this is over 50 years old, so I am taking it to Tennessee with me, and I will set it up for my little girls to play with. So the bamboo yarn, Alice, is really soft, and very flexible. The yarn that I was working with was so flexible that, you know, the four weight Red Heart Super Saver yarn, you know, if you make a granny square with it, you can kind of like hold it and it just holds its shape. But if you did that with this, it would just drape. To me, it is so, you know, flexible and soft and just so fun to work with. But yeah, so I'm going to take this to Tennessee with me and set it up for my little girls to play with. And so right now I'm just trying to not get it broken. So yeah. Oh, wow. So anyway, that was my story. I'm looking over here. There's a U-Haul place right in front of me, and they're hooking up a trailer. Cool. Anyway, I'm easily distracted this morning. What can I say? Let me get some coffee and let me see what you've said. Patty says, finished her second cup of coffee. She has to do housework and then pick up your hook and finish a dinosaur. Yay! Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Jessica says that feeling of the bamboo yarn. She said her daughter came downstairs, touched it, and goes, "This is for me." Yeah. Let's see. Oh yes, these are great props for crochet projects. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just now catching some of the comments, and Alice says she is currently making a seatbelt cover today. Her sister requested it. Nice. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm a little scatterbrained this morning. But let me tell you about yesterday. So, I thought that we had all of the yarn. I thought that I had found all of my yarn, and it was all in boxes, lots and lots of totes. I even filled, I think, 2 medium-sized boxes with more yarn. I can't even begin to say, but I do know that this next year is going to be my year of not buying yarn. Not buying yarn. If I don't have it, then I don't need to make it because I have too much yarn. I even gave away some yarn. And so anyway, yesterday we still had a dresser to unload, and it just had t-shirts, and it did have a couple like blue jeans and stuff like that. They were all things that we were going to take, but things that we hadn't worn, because quite honestly, my craft table was right in front of that dresser. So we hadn't even been in that dresser for the past year. So yeah. So anyway, I had 2 medium boxes, and we filled one up with the t-shirts and the jeans and whatnot. That's completely full. And then another medium box we half filled it. So that's okay, because I'm going to put some more yarn on top of that. So that way, we can fill it. I can find other things to put in there too. Excuse me. So I have a rolling cart. It has 3 levels. It's the kind that, it's metal. We got it at Sam's. It has 3 levels with a little bit of a fence around it, so if you put things on there, it won't roll off. And all 3 of those levels had totes, but they were the fabric totes with handles. They were big totes. And so I brought that rolly cart out to the living room last night, and I started going through it, and I started organizing, and I found, now mind you, we've already packed, I've already taken umpteen million boxes to the cabin to put it up in the loft so that they can store, because they're in those totes that could pop open, and I don't want the regular mover to have them in the truck, because I could just imagine, a big old mess once we get there. And so anyway, I don't know if you can see right here, but there's the top of another tote, and there's, I think, 1 or 2 more underneath that. And yeah. Oh, there's more over here in the back of the van. And so anyway, I started going through this, and I had the 31 large utility totes. They have metal around the top so they hold up. I have 2 of those completely filled with yarn. So I started putting all of the little balls of yarn that my mom had been rolling up. They were everywhere in this tote, in that tote, one here, one there. So I put it all together, and those big Ziploc 2-gallon bags is completely full, stuffed full of balls of yarn, of leftover yarn. So I have that. I counted, not including those balls of yarn, not including, any of the ones that were partial. I counted from that rolling cart over 50 skeins of yarn. Over 50. How does that happen? Now, in my defense, a lot of them are cotton yarn, and one of my utility totes from 31 was full of scrubby yarn that I had gotten on clearance that I forgot about from last year. Excuse me. And I had put it in that utility tote, all skeins of the scrubby yarn. So it was all together, right? And when I was packing yarn, I kept feeling like, wow, I don't have much scrubby yarn. I don't know what happened. I thought I had some. Well, there it was. There it was. So they were little. So that's why, I had so many. But anyway, they were yarned from Dollar Tree. So they were the small, like 3-ounce skeins of yarn. So in my defense, they were small skeins of yarn, but they were complete. Cotton, and they were all, the little balls of cotton yarn. And they're what, 2 ounces maybe? Yeah, they're about 2 ounces. But I had over 50 skeins of yarn that I just found yesterday. So, definitely this next year, no buying yarn for me. It is going to be the year of using my yarn. The year of shopping from my shelves. So anyway, I see a lot of scrubbies in my future. I really do. Yeah. Okay. Oh, after your trip to Montana, have fun in Montana. Yes. Yes, Catherine is visiting Voldemort. That's right, which is Hobby Lobby, which is where they have all that soft yarn. Let's see. Valerie says, I'm trying to finish a market bag. I posted it on Facebook. The little puppy decided to take a nap in my bag. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Valerie. I can't wait to check that out. Oh my goodness. Hey, listen, it's not just 50 skeins because I've already packed up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of skeins. This is after packing. This is after packing. So, oh, Alice has me beat. So, okay. For those of you in my position where you have yarn that's stashed all different places, here's my challenge to you. Organize it. Organize it and count and get an actual number or a close tally, okay, of how much yarn you have. And that is going to be a wake-up call. It was a wake-up call for me, okay, because I've always thought, every time I pass a Hobby Lobby, every time I pass a Joann's or a Michael's, I need more yarn. I need lots more yarn. I want all the yarn. I want all the yarn. Well, guess what, folks? I almost have all the yarn. So, yeah, packing and organizing. I had already organized some of, a lot of my yarn by color into totes. You remember that? Which at the time felt kind of like after I did it, I thought, oh, I've created more piles of stuff for me, but it actually helped because I had that started for the packing process, right? So, yeah. Organize your yarn. Get a handle on how much you have. Get a handle on it. Oh my goodness. You know, I don't know how much the milk crates are at Walmart now. When I got them, they weren't that expensive when I started getting them, okay? But I started getting them like around 2020. I would get a couple of them. I just got a couple of them. And they were like $3 or $4. They may have gone up because everything has gone up. But $3 or $4, and you know what you can do is you can stack them sideways. If you have a wall that's available, you can stack them sideways, and you only need like every other one. Like here's a tote, milk crate, a blank space. Leave the width of the milk crate, and then put another one here, and then blank space, and then another one here. So then what you would do is up above, you would do the opposite. So like there was a crate here, there's an empty space, put a tote here. Not a tote, I keep saying tote. Milk crate. Take some zip ties, and in those holes that are in the milk crates, zip tie the edges. So then using half of the amount of totes or milk crates, you can actually have shelving. So that's not a bad deal, because you're also using the blank space between the milk crates to store your yarn. So it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. And then now on the ends where, that's interesting. How would you do that? Maybe on the ends where there's another, let's see, where there's the space, you might have to put another milk crate on either side, and then just do the every other in the middle. You might have to do that, unless you were a genius and you got some wooden dowels or something and you know, made it work, which you could. But anyway, let's get control. Talking to myself here, talking to myself. I need to get control. Oh, that was your plan this year? Yeah. Not to buy any yarn and just use what I have. Yes. Okay. Catherine says, soon, Alice, I'm going. She's going to Hobby Lobby. It says, I'm working on getting my passport. Oh, good. Okay. And Catherine, have a great day at work. Oh, yeah. This was the post-packing stuff. Alice, this was the post-packing stuff. Oh my gosh. This was when I thought that I had packed all of my yarn. I knew that there was a tote in there that had a little bit of yarn, because it was a blanket that I had started. Remember that blue round mandala afghan that I was making? Well, I had started a green one in complementary colors, but just green, okay? And so I knew that that was in there. So that one had 6 skeins of yarn, because that's what was supposed to, that's how much yarn you were supposed to have. 6 different colors for this mandala yarn. So I knew that that was in there, along with the start of my green mandala. No, I found more and more and more. I found another blanket that I had started, and it was a baby wave blanket, and I actually never did a tutorial on it. I started the blanket. It's so adorable. It's in like an aqua blue and a lavender, and the colors just look so pretty together. I can't wait to work on that a little more and maybe do a tutorial on that. I found so many things. So, yeah, that was crazy. Okay. And Jessica says, I've got it handled. She doesn't even have a tote full. Good for you. Good for you. Buy what you need. Oh, Alice has a spare room dedicated to yarn, but it's seeping into my bedroom, living room, etc. Way too much yarn. I know. I honestly I knew that I had a lot of yarn, but I honestly didn't realize how much yarn I had. So much yarn. So Jessica wants her own store too. Oh, nice. Nikki says, I get the big container of Tide free pods for laundry. And she's been saving them and been storing yarn in them. Keeps the dust off and they stack. That's a good idea. Except you can't see what you got in there. Do you have it labeled? That might work for me. Or I might be like, oh, where's my yarn? Where's that color that I wanted, right? Oh boy. Oh boy, Jessica, that's crazy about. Wow. Alice does have her own shop. Valerie, yes, I agree. Oh, good. And Alice says she donates yarn now and again to a lady at the local post office. She knits hats for homeless folks. That is really nice. That's nice. I gave yarn to an acquaintance, and when I found out that she had just started crocheting again, you know, and that she didn't have yarn, I gave her some yarn. I gave her a really big Joanne bag of stuffed full of yarn. I mean, it was to the top. I probably gave her 20 skeins of yarn, or at least 15. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot. I think it was probably about 20. But some of the yarn that I gave her was yarn that I don't use anymore. Like the Karen Simply Soft. I used it at one point and I loved it, and now I don't. And so I gave her skeins and skeins of the Karen Simply Soft. People that love it, love it. And I don't mind it, but I thought, you know, out of all the yarn that I could give her, let me give her full skeins of Karen Simply Soft. It's a lovely yarn. It was in really pretty colors. And in fact, I had bought some yarn for a project to make a jellyfish mobile for a baby that was about to be born. And so I had all of these colors that were like sea blue, all these different shades of sea blue. And then there was one that was like a variegated with like sea blue, aqua teal, even a deeper blue. It was just really pretty. This whole set was really pretty, and all the colors looked so pretty. And I had quite a few left, so I gave her all of those, so she has enough to make a really pretty blanket. So anyway, I felt good about that, but too much yarn. Crazy. Okay. Label and keep a string out sometimes. Okay, so you see it. Okay, so what she'll do is she'll label the Tide Pod buckets, and she will let the end of the yarn hang out so she can see what's in each one. That's smart. Because labeling still probably wouldn't do it for me, but if I could see, oh, this is the shade of pink that I needed, or this is the shade of brown that I needed, that would help. Right. I agree, Alice. Thank you, Nikki. I did like Simply Soft at one point, but that was because I hadn't been to Hobby Lobby at that point. Hobby Lobby was like 40 miles away. So, you know, you don't just hop in the car and go and get yarn at the end of the day. And, you know, so I really hadn't just dove into that. I was still shopping from like Walmart, my local Walmart. This was pre-pandemic, and they had Karen Simply Soft, and they had Red Heart, and they had the Lion Brand, the mandala yarn. I miss that in the price that I used to pay. I used to get a cake this big for $5. $5. Oh my goodness. And now You get one this big and they want $9 for it. Yes, Nikki, that's good. The Tide Free costs so much that she wanted to reuse the containers that they come in. Good for you. Good for you. I feel that way when I am at the end of my coffee, because it uses those well, I use Maxwell House, so it's like those plastic containers with the lid. I feel that way with those too. I really do. I haven't figured out what to do with them though. So, I don't know. Oh, yeah, so that was really weird. So let's come up with, you guys, have we come up with a catchy name for the year of not buying yarn? I know, Jessica, right? And the tag said 99 cents. I know. I remember when I was a kid, there was a, that's funny, Alice. Alice says, our Nikki, she doesn't weave in ends, but she sure does do an awful lot of laundry. Well, she smells good, so there you go. Oh my goodness. So, you know, when I was a kid growing up, there was a little craft store. We didn't have a big craft store. It was just like a little, you know, just like a one door kind of size shop, right? And that had everything. Because I remember I used to go in there. I loved the way it smelled. I don't know, just something about the smell of all of the crafts and things. I don't know what it was in there, but I just loved it. It had a small section of yarn, which I shopped from. But I was a kid, so I didn't have a whole lot of money, and I would try to spend my own money. And, you know, my mom, it was like a couple doors down from the A&P where we would do grocery shopping. So, you know, when we went grocery shopping, I could run in there and look and see. I remember going in there, and that's where I learned macrame. I bought a macrame book, and it was one of those that was like a really large, it was almost like a file folder, and then it had regular pages inside, you know, but it was all stapled together. You know, one of those, right? A little more than a pamphlet, a whole lot less than a book, right? And I wish that I could find that book because I loved that book. I made all kinds of hanging plant hangers and all kinds of things with macrame. And then they had big rolls of the Bonnie craft cord, macrame cord. And so I would buy those up. And I remember they weren't that expensive either. And so I would go in there and I would buy, and then they had beads. They had those big beads, different colors, different shapes. Some of them were ceramic, like butterflies, and some of them were just the big wooden, you know, beads, the big balls. And so I could use them in my macrame. And so I would go in there and I would, you know, buy a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but I never bought enough yarn to complete a project, you know, to make like one blanket. And oh, I know, the glass beads. They were so pretty, Jessica. I loved them. One time I bought some, and they were a little pricey. So, you know, my favorite person got that one for Christmas, you know, got that one because it had like little butterflies. And because on the hangers, I would always go halfway and then do a bead or a butterfly. And then that's where I would split and then, you know, make the actual plant holder, you know, the pot holder. And so, yeah, they were pretty. They were really pretty. The wooden balls, you could get those. They were like 5 or 10 cents. Not that expensive. But yeah, I remember going into the yarn aisle and I would, you know, I would just buy one skein. And back then I was still learning, my crochet. I was still young in my crochet, and I crocheted so tight. I thought I had to pull it tight every time. I didn't know that you could relax at that time. I didn't know that you could relax your stitches and like go with the flow. And it wasn't until I was in my teen years that I started like really relaxing my stitches. So it took a little bit. So don't worry if you are at the beginning stages of your crochet journey. If you are a tight crocheter, just take a deep breath and just learn to relax. And yeah, maybe get a bigger hook. That was one of my problems too, was that I had a small hook. I was using an F hook, and it was a little too small. So anyway. Oh, what I wouldn't do, just to go back to that same store, like go back in time, go back to that same store, and I don't want the yarn because that yarn was kind of scratchy, not gonna lie. But I do want some of that craft cord, and I want some of those beads. And I don't really remember what else was in there, but I do know I went every aisle and I knew what was in every aisle. And they had, do you remember when they used to have the same kind of little booklet? I think Annie's put those booklets out. So it was like the size of a file folder, and it was like a cardboard consistency on the outside, but it had pretty pictures on the outside, and then on the inside it had, regular paper, and you had probably about maybe 8 patterns in that book. Oh, how I wish I could go back and like pluck those and just look through them and buy all the beads, and then come back to today. I would love that. I would love that. Oh, Nikki says when she first started crocheting, she only had like one hook, right? And once you got more, it opened up so much. Yes. I think I started with an F hook, and my crochet was so tight. Yeah, it was pretty crazy how tight it was. I mean, like, I couldn't use it for anything. It was like really stiff, But anyway, it's so funny how we grow and how we learn, and how, things, it just opens up for us, Now I'm thinking, oh, my granddaughter, I think I bought her an F hook. And so I'm going to have to buy her some more hooks. I am. And she was so excited to get yarn from me. And yeah. Anyway. The older I get, the more I realize that things don't matter as much as people do. And so, I just told the girls, whatever you want, pick your color. And they were so excited. Their eyes got so big, and they were like, really? And I'm like, yes, pick whatever color you want. It's okay. And Nicole had a hard time choosing. And that was okay. I wasn't rushing her. Her mommy was rushing her, but I wasn't rushing her. And this is the difference between my oldest granddaughter, who's 5, and the youngest, who's 3. Nicole, she had to be really thoughtful and, try to pick a color that she really liked. And then along comes Annabelle, and she's like, I like that one. Because she found a color she liked, and she's like, I want that one. So they both got some yarn, and I intend to let them, throughout their life, if they want to make a project, if they want to crochet, go shop on my wall. Whatever you need. So, yeah. I'm going to pass my love of yarn on to my grandchildren, and my love of crochet on to my grandchildren, and we're going to have fun, and a whole new generation is going to enjoy this craft, and we're going to keep it going, right? Right? Yes, we're going to keep it going. So anyway, I hope that you have a great Monday. Thank you for hanging out with me. I just rambled this morning and reminisced, and so anyway, thank you for letting me do that. I had so much fun this morning sharing my day with you. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. Happy Monday! Now on Wednesday, we have an appointment in the big city, so I'm not going to be able to go live on Wednesday morning. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can make up for it on Thursday. We'll see. And so I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Stay safe, be kind, and get hooking. And much love to everybody. And I will see you next time.